Give me a 3, 2, 1 or something.
Oh, we're live.
Oh, 3, 2, 1. Hi.
That was
Hi,
it.
baby. I miss you.
Hi everyone.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Healthy Habits
With
with
Mark,
Mark, with
right?
Alexa Roan.
Alexa Roan and Mark Highlove.
I'm Mark Highlove.
And I'm Alexa Roan.
That's true.
And today we have a very special topic. We are talking about drumroll.
Yoga.
Yeah.
Also, I'm in Monterey. I'm at the beach. We can see. This is where I am. We've this house that we're staying in right there. Because I'm here working. So
Yep.
I'm out of
I'm in
town.
a
I miss.
new I'm in a new location too. I'm in the living room. There's a
Ooh, there's a
fireplace.
fireplace.
Me.
I miss our living room, but that's okay. I'm out here enjoying Monterey,
Doing work, making money.
doing
So
work.
we
Yeah,
do.
make that money.
All
Stacking
right.
cheddar.
So we let Mark pick the topic today. So tell me, Mark Highlove, why did you want to talk about yoga?
Well, Alexa Roan, I've noticed that you've been doing your yoga. Pardon me, I'm grabbing my organic Eel River beer.
Cheers. Cheers, happy
Cheers.
listeners. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It's 5 o'clock. It's almost 5 o'clock here.
Yeah.
Mm. And it's Sunday. Yeah. I've noticed in my travels that several people have mentioned something to me about your daily yoga practice that you've been sharing through your at Alexa Roan, being really inspiring to them, and saying that they've been following your uh, what do you call it? Your how do you say improvements and your growth in your practice, and that your daily
Trying
practice has
not to suck at life.
yeah, and that your daily practice has really inspired people. It's
Awesome.
also inspired me. I've been doing yoga a long time, but I also go through spells where I won't do it for a while, and then I'll get back on the train, and I feel so much better when I do it every day. And then also being here in Monterey, and I'm staying in a house full of friends I'm working with, and most of us are doing our yoga every morning and feeling really great, and it's really helps us. And so I was like, man, we should talk. Maybe we should talk about doing yoga while traveling. And then I thought, well, life is always shifting and changing and stuff, and there's always different challenges that come to a daily practice. And I thought, well, let's just talk about this thing that's such a big part of our life. It's a healthy habit.
Yeah. Trying not to be old and decrepit at a young age, or trying to fix all the ills we've done to our body in the younger age, or at least I have. I know it's definitely been helping with my posture, with my body tone, with my text neck, that lump you get like right down here.
Oh.
Ooh, that helps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And part of what brought me to a daily yoga practice is I was thinking about, see if I can even spell it, what would it take to start training myself to have good habits?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you start, everything's kind of hard, and if you try to do something too big, you fall off the map and you never do it. And there's this concept, and I finally heard it put really succinctly recently, and it's that discipline scales.
Oh yeah.
And so the more that you show up and do something, the easier it is to show up and do it from then on. And
Well,
with that
and to show up and do other stuff.
yeah, so it tends to kind of roll out into other parts of your life. So instead of starting with something really hard, like I'm going to write every day because that's freaking hard, I was like, let me do something with my body. So that's where yoga came from. And someday,
Ooh, you froze. I
I
don't
know,
know what
I
happened.
know. I know. I think 2.5 months in, it really helps teach you just how capable you are of doing something every day. So that's where that discipline scales comes from. And while I might have been flopping onto my belly like a dead fish within the first 2 salutations at first, now I can make it through, 12 cycles quickly,
Right.
almost like a cardio thing, and it works out really well.
So I'm just going to add in that you flopped on your belly like a super hot really gorgeous dead fish. I may be biased,
Yeah, there was some
but
serious
yeah,
flopping
it
there.
was dead fish, but like gorgeous dead fish, and
Yeah,
like the leopard American Apparel onesie, looking good. Yeah, she really
I
is.
feel like
It looks this good all the time.
I feel like you have been gone and haven't most of this month, so he's a little pent up, guys. Sorry about his like awkwardness. So let's get our agenda. Um, let's get this show on the road.
Yeah.
Um, Mark, you used to teach yoga back in the day.
Oh yeah,
To
I'll even still
probably
teach some yoga if people are around that want to learn it. But it seems like I can throw a
yes.
tennis ball without hitting. I can't throw a tennis ball without hitting a yoga teacher anymore. So um, it's a lot more. I don't need to teach it. There's so many yoga teachers around.
Yeah. Okay. So you and everyone else has taught yoga at some point in their life. Even I used to teach rock and roll yoga, but why don't you talk a little bit about some of the benefits that come from that? I'm not as chanty as you. I'm just trying to have a tight butt and like a nice body, but I think you might have a better understanding of some of those benefits beyond
Oh.
just like looking long and lean.
Well, I like looking long and lean. I also like your tight butt and nice body, or I mean having a nice tight butt body. Anyways, I mean the thing is outside, so is inside. It's like that we get long and lean and healthy in a tight butt, not just because of an external thing that's happening on the outside. It's because of what's happening on the inside. And so the practice, it works our inside of our body, which is what creates, as we tone ourselves and create superior health, it appears on the outside. Our skin gets healthier, our posture is better, our digestion is better, our moods improve. There are all these benefits that happen. I remember years ago, my friend Chris Hawk Stevens says to me, I ran into him somewhere in Ohio, and he goes, "Mark, I don't understand. Why didn't you tell me?" I'm like, "Tell you what?" He's like, I mean, when you do it every single day. I was like, "When you do what every single day?" He's like, "Man, you do yoga every single day. It's like your whole life gets better." And well, dude, I told you like 100 times. It's like, do yoga every day. It really makes your life better. Like, yeah, but man, I feel so much better. I was like, yep, it's super awesome. Just makes me feel better. Like, my moods are better, my health is better. At work, I do a lot of physical exercise at work, and it just makes it so I'm not all tight. I feel I have more range of motion. I'm healthier. My moods are improved. I'm, just feel better. It improves longevity. Uh, it's yeah, it's all the way there. And whether you're living an active life or a sedentary life, either way, it helps to bring balance. That's really what so much of the practice is to bring balance to our lives. It,
Totally.
that improves breathing, digestion. I mean, it just goes. I can go on and on and on about the benefits. How about you? What are some benefits you could share the legs around?
I definitely feel like my body's a little bit is stronger. Things are looking where they should. I've always been skinny, but I am also guilty of being what I delicately like to call skinny fat. Where yes, I'm still small, but you can be out of shape and a little out of tone. So definitely things are moving to where I would prefer them to be. But I also see that once you show yourself that you can do something every single day, and once you prove that to yourself, other things tend to be easier. So at first, it was a much more of a challenge to get there, and I think this is probably a good time to start talking about like some of the challenges.
Totally.
As much as it was a challenge to get there, as I proved to myself that I was the type of person who can and does, and who was able to show up and actually do the thing and be there and stretch my happy ass every morning. Once I realized that I could do that, I realized that there were other things that I could take on it and attempt to do that might be a little bit bigger, a little bit more challenging. But when you've already shown that you can do things, it
Totally.
doesn't seem quite as sketchy.
It's true. Well, and part of yoga is that it's challenging. I mean, it's like it's not comfortable. Anybody that's been in a yoga class in pigeon pose or trying to do a full Urdhva Dhanurasana back bend, like full back bend pose, is going to tell you like that is uncomfortable, and you're in this pose and you're uncomfortable and you're there and you're like, this is bullshit. Like, why is this teacher making me do this? Like, what kind of sadistic sicko makes somebody do this? And like, oh my god, I think I'm stuck. I'm never going to get out of this. Oh my, why does this hurt? Why do I feel so angry all of a sudden? And what? Oh, and now I feel this sadness, and all this stuff comes up. And as we push through and breathe and continue and really work through those challenges and practice doing that every day, we go, okay, actually this isn't so bad. I can handle this. And it gets better and it gets easier. And as we practice that daily, because that's what yoga really is a practice, then all of a sudden it comes up in life when challenges come up, we realize we can just breathe through it, soften into it, work through it, and the next thing we know, we break through, have these great breakthroughs, and these, reach these new heights and new plateaus, not just within our physical practice, but within our practice of our life, whether it be challenges with work or career, or with family or social or moods or weather or whatever, all these different things that come up, because life tends to have a lot of challenges and a lot of twists and turns and things. And by practicing our twists and turns and breathing through, we create some strength and flexibility in ourself. Strength and flexibility are both things to have in pretty much every aspect of life.
Yeah,
From
totally.
the bedroom to the boardroom.
And I think an interesting thing is the mental part of yoga. Like, it's not just about having perfect form and doing handstands and being Instagram aspirational. A lot of the part is the mental part of saying, what am I capable of doing with my body and what am I capable of doing with my mind? Because if you're doing something like yin yoga, where you sit there and hold that pose for like fucking 7 minutes of
Totally.
brutal terror, you think child's pose is hard? Hold that bitch for 7 minutes and tell me it's easy. You can't. Like, it's a mental game to say, I have to breathe into these feelings and breathe into these things that might not tickle or might feel like they're going to snap my hip off. But as you learn to do that, it becomes easier to breathe and like kind of lean into things that might be uncomfortable in other parts of your life. Sure. And I think that's why so many people who make a daily yoga practice end up finding it spilling over into other parts of their life in a really healthy way.
Absolutely.
So I think that brings like an interesting thing, like how do you actually start it? Because it's not easy. And a lot of people, when I've started doing things like, I can kind of do a forearm stand now, which I never thought I would be able to do. Although you missed it the other day, Mark. I was trying to do it, and then I let my feet kind of slip over because I wanted to see if I could do that one where you like keep them going over.
Like, yeah, the what do you call it? Scorpion pose?
Yeah. Well, Mr. Kitty was hanging out with me, and I slipped, fell down the wall, over into the back and just kind of flopped all over the couch. I was like, I am out.
I have done that.
Thankfully, I didn't hurt myself. I guess I can bend that way. I was warmed up, thankfully, but yeah, he missed a really good flop because you're not always beautiful and aspirational. And even those pictures that, I post of my forearm stands, like I can hold those for like 4 or 5 seconds. And the rest of the time is like flailing legs up and down, up and down. Like if you actually watched a video of it, you'd be like, well, I guess it was kind of aspirational.
I mean, really, I think the thing that's so aspirational is not that you've got this like yoga journal centerfold girl pose, but that you're doing it. Because showing up is like 99%. I mean, it's so in life, it's so easy to work ourselves up about these giant challenges, but the biggest thing is to start. Like we were talking this morning in the house I'm staying with, five friends that we're all working together on this job, and we were like, oh yeah, the hard part is getting your feet on your mat in the morning. All you need to do, just commit to doing 5 seconds of yoga. If you commit to doing 5 seconds of yoga, then you're good, because once you do 5 seconds of yoga, you're like, oh shit, this feels great. Oops, I'm spilling my beer. You're like, oh, 5 seconds of yoga, this feels great. I'm going to keep doing yoga. And the next thing you know, hour and a half later, you're like, oh man, I got to get to work. I got other things to do today. I better have breakfast and
I don't
continue
know if I
on.
could say that that's how it is for me every time. I'm going to try and see if this will give me some more light without
Oh
making.
yeah, that's much better.
It's like cell phone light, so it's pretty shitty. But
Yeah, but you're so pretty that
I should have brought another lamp in. So the sun's going down quickly in Reno. I guess you're further south.
Yeah. Well, the sun is like right on the horizon here. I'm actually kind of watching the sunset as I'm talking to you, which is
Yeah.
probably why my lighting is so nice. So I look like,
You've
like a
got the golden
classy.
hour, and I've got
Totally.
the cyborg hour. And I think,
Cyborg, golden cyborg hour.
I think that even though we say once you get there, like some days I've gotten to the mat and been like, nope. I've gotten there,
Oh,
like
yeah.
flailed around a little bit and said, you know what, I'm good. But then other days
Oh,
I
you mean
get
like
there,
hangover yoga?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
we've all done it. It's like you're like, if the room would sit still for a minute, I could do this balancing pose. But really, I'm just trying to do my balancing on 2 feet pose. This shit is
oh
ridiculous.
yeah. Flopping over definitely happens. I mean, there's times when I'm like, oh man, like I can barely balance.
Mm.
And I'm
Whoa.
so always like that. It's only happened twice in my last. What?
Whoa. You just super froze, buddy.
Oh, I was saying, I mean, sometimes you get there and you're like, whoa, that was a lot harder than I thought. Or if I do a down dog, I might also up chuck. So,
Yuck.
maybe I should just do some gentle stretching. But yoga can be just stretching, or it can be
Totally.
actual, like, I do some pretty fast flows when I'm actually feeling good. I like to go through my like 12 cycles of sun salutations quickly. It's kind of a cardio thing, but there are definitely other days when it's more of a survival thing, just to see if I can like move my body enough to
Totally.
take on.
Or I mean, recently we're doing this job and we're working on this PGA golf tournament in Monterey, and we're building all these big tents. And so I'm working overhead with my arms, lifting and holding heavy things overhead, and picking things up with my arms all day long, and carrying heavy things and doing all this. So this morning I woke up, I was like, I am not doing push-ups today. I'm not like I am not doing upper like arm strengthening upper arm. I was like, I'm doing some like gentle restorative like resting twist and breathing stuff because that's about all I've got in me, because I just really need to do some like gentle light warm up stretching, because I don't need to be building strength because I'm working my muscles all day long. On another day where I'm just sitting in front of the computer all day or sitting in a sedentary thing, I'm like, oh, what I really need is some get some aerobic exercise going and like get the blood flowing. And today I have tons of blood flowing. They're like the cutest kids. Distracting me at the
It's
moment.
funny because I'm used to having like a rooster screwing up my live stream. There's always something. Now it's children.
Right. But yeah, it's like
There's always something
always.
growing in the
Well, yeah,
background.
there's that, and that's life. Like there's always distractions. BKS Iyengar, which is Iyengar yoga, is great for understanding the forms of the postures. But Iyengar used to go meditate and do his practice underneath a roller coaster at the amusement park, and people were like, "That's crazy. How do you do that?" And he's like, "Well, because if I can focus on my breath and my meditation underneath a roller coaster at the amusement park, then I can do it other places, no problem."
Do you realize how much like dirt and old vomit is underneath the roller coaster? That's all disgusting.
Yeah, well, and also, could you imagine in the United States them letting you do your yoga underneath the roller coaster? Definitely not. But in India, like 40 years ago, things were
They're
different.
like, yeah, whatever, just try not to die.
They're just like, I don't know, just like, yeah, if you die, like then just try to die in a way where we don't have to clean it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Clean up after yourself if you decide to kill yourself underneath a roller coaster. Something I get a lot actually from people as I was sharing my yoga practice was, do I go to classes or what do I do? And I actually do everything at home. Like I've been to classes for ages. It's great, but I have a hard
Classes
time.
are great. Yeah.
I have a hard time leaving the house and making a plan and paying like, man, that's some bougie shit where it's like $10, $15, $20 a session. Like that's horrible. You
Totally.
can learn yoga on your own anyways. One of my favorites is actually doyogawithme.com. It's these Canadian people, and they have all of these free courses. They have an incredible this wonderful like yin yoga class on there that if you really want to like just sit in the poses, they have some good flows.
Yin yoga's great. Paul
like,
Gurley.
They're so Canadian, so they'll be like, could you go into down dog, please? And then they'll be like, okay, now move your left leg forward, please. Thank you. Okay. And now just stand up, please. Thank you. And they're just like, please and thank you the whole time. So it's like the most polite yoga class you'll ever take online.
Unlike my yoga class, we're like, get in the fucking down dog. All right. Listen, now do this thing.
Yeah, that's about how it is at our house. We're a little more direct. I taught rock and roll yoga where we would just listen to like Pantera and like try to do yoga.
So I do yoga. I've done my yoga practice to like Waylon Jennings, Johnny Cash, and dubstep. Like I don't know, whatever it is I'm feeling at the moment.
Yes, it does not.
Motorhead yoga. It's like it's all like just do what you need. Yeah, you don't have to listen to
no chanting
Lounge
required.
Volume 7. No, I mean I'm a chanter, but
you don't have to
but you don't have to be a chanter. You
are a chanter. I don't like it. I don't even really get into the namaste stuff. Like I don't pray. That's not my religion. It's not my shit. Like cool. Like namaste the fuck away. Like that's not my it's just not my trip. Like I enjoy the physical aspects of it. I understand that there are some like meditative things, and I biologically and scientifically understand the benefits of meditation and yoga and those, but I'm not gonna sit there and chant to, some God who may or may not exist, and I will never have the proof to know whether or not they actually do exist. So
and I'm just like, Ganesha, let's do this.
What?
I'm like, Ganesha, let's do this. Ganapata, yay! Yay!
Yeah, he's Ganapata, yay, and I'm namaste the fuck away. So...
But that's the thing with yoga, like it's all the things, and everybody's yoga practice is a personal yoga practice. And you're frozen. I don't know if you caught that, but
I caught it. I heard it from you.
You heard it here, folks. That's the thing. Is
next to the router. I don't understand why my internet hates me.
I don't know. I'm on. Probably because at home we don't pay the premiums, but over here we pay premium, net neutrality. I just, this side, I don't know. I'm just talking smack. I don't know. Okay. Our internet kind of sucks.
I'm not frozen. I'm just not listening to you anymore.
No, I know. Like deer in the headlights.
Okay, honey.
Whatever, babe.
Yeah, whatever. So
where were we? What are we talking about? Tips?
Our next thing is actually just like kind of closing up about what it takes to do yoga. And because everyone out there is completely capable of having a daily yoga practice, the hardest thing is getting to the mat. Even if it means you roll it out the day before and say, I'm going, put it somewhere where it falls on you when your alarm goes off. I would suggest most people do it in the morning when you still have willpower.
Morning's the best.
If you wait till the end of the day.
You think you'll do it later, you won't. You probably won't. Like 99% of the time is when you're like, I'm going to do it later, you totally will not do it later. I did want to mention, though, Switch and I were talking about the other day. I've got a good friend, Switch, and we were talking about yoga. And like he was saying that he really enjoys a lot of yoga centers will have great, like, 1 month introductory yoga memberships where you can join the yoga center and go as much as you want for a whole month for like an introductory low price. And he's like, oh yeah, man, I've done like every introductory yoga class around. He's like, because I'll do a whole month and I get so inspired and I learn so much, and it's a great bargain and a great way to go. And so that's another idea if you're somebody that excels in that sort of thing. A lot of our at-home listeners are people that don't want to actually go outside or talk to people. So
I think though that's a great method. That's a great method if you want to like learn a little bit about yoga if you're new or you want some new poses, is you can go learn what they have to teach you, get some new flows, get some new poses, and then cancel it. Like who really keeps up with a gym subscription more than a month anyway?
Yeah, you just do it for like, it's like you do it for like 1 month at a time.
Yeah, do it for
Yeah.
a month and then be like, all right, peace. Bye, guys. I'm going to go like do this same thing at home.
Totally. And if you're needing some more ideas, like there is so much free yoga content on YouTube,
Yeah.
like
That's
or
why
whatever online. There's or what's the one you said? The yoga
it's doyogawithme.com. So I
doyogawithme.com.
do
Yeah.
that one. There's also like I really like Rodney Yee. That's the
I
guy
love
that I
Rodney is
started
awesome.
learning. I started learning from Rodney Yee via tapes. He has his AM PM yoga that was great. My mom and I used to do it.
Isn't he YI? Is it YEE? I thought it was
Oh, you're
YI.
right. I don't know. I'm just
Rodney.
typing it as I go. It might.
And also, if you're out there listening, Rodney's brother Larry is awesome. He's not really a yoga teacher, but he's a buddy. And we love you, Larry. Or at
Name
least
drops.
Larry's awesome. He is
Yeah.
just great.
So I guess get out there. Yeah, definitely. YouTube has good ones. You can do a free introductory course. You can, I don't know, if you really want to, let me know and I'll tape my flow or I'll find a way to share what I do every morning, which is I started with 6 salutations with a different warrior pose at the end. And I've since every month I add 2. So I'm up to 12. I could not do 12 when I first started. I was panting anyways. So, you know. These are close.
Yeah, that's it. Do yoga. Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing. I would say my closing is to do it. And if you don't do it, then start. And if you used to do it and you haven't lately, then start again. And yeah, really just do it. It feels awesome. It makes your life better. It makes you feel better. It makes your business better. It makes your sex better. It makes you breathe better. It makes you work better. It makes you feel better. It makes you have fun better. It makes you feel better when you go dancing. It's like pretty much
Yeah,
yoga's the bomb.
it brings flexibility to your mind and your body, and it really helps you see the potential when you do a daily yoga practice, not just yoga, but having a daily practice of something that you show up for every day. If
Totally.
to really be successful, training yourself to do something every single day can help convince you and your monkey mind or your imposter syndrome that you are the kind of person that can show up every day and do something. So if you're
Totally.
you're trying to do something big with your life and your work, and you haven't been able to show up consistently, try with something small that is as simple as rolling out of bed and trying to do a couple like down dog, up dogs next to your bed. So see how you
Totally.
can
Or
convince
even just some
yourself.
cat cow pose. And
Yep.
some twists and
Yep.
some yeah, it's okay to start small. And it's important to ramp up.
Yep, because, let's put my new favorite quote back up there. Because as we know, discipline. I want to say like the Karate Kid.
Discipline.
Scales. Oh, it's scales. I fucked it up.
Discipline scale. Discipline scale.
Discipline scales. So, and what this really means in practice is that it might be hard at first, but the more that you show up, the easier it gets. And the more you show up and the easier it gets to do even bigger things.
Yep. I didn't get that part because you froze out, but I totally agree with what you said. Because we're psychically connected, and I understood.
Yeah, I think I froze.
Yeah, but as you show up, it gets easier to do bigger and better things. As you practice, keep showing up because discipline scales.
How do you have better connection than me? You're on a freaking cell phone. I was trying to have this big poignant thing about how the more you show up, the easier it is to do something daily.
Because Verizon owns the internet.
And the more that you show up consistently and as those things get easier, it's easier to do big things every day and to do big things with your life. I feel like this model with you gone is even worse for us talking over each other. Because you don't know when I'm talking and you just start and continue, and then I'm like, fine, I'll just stop.
Yeah, totally. It's true. I agree. Cheers.
Okay, well,
will you say your big poignant thought one more time? Because it's important. I feel like I want that to be our finale wrap up. I would love that.
This is my emoji spirit animal, the face palm. That is my emoji spirit animal. But what we mean by discipline scales is that the more that you show up every day and do something, the easier it gets, right? And as that gets easier to do that little thing every day, it becomes easier to also do bigger things. So then bigger things become easier too. And this is what it means by discipline scales.
Totally. And this is the whole point of healthy habits. This is the
Yeah.
base. This thing that Alexa's talking about is exactly the entire backbone of this entire show. And every show that we're talking about is all about discipline scaling. It's all about that discipline scales, healthy habit scale. That when we make point to make these little bits of habits that are healthy, that becomes who we are and how we live our life.
Yep, exactly. I think that's a great closing thought. So, guys, get out to the mat, start something today that can help you achieve bigger things tomorrow by teaching you how capable you are of the little things.
Yep.
Right?
Namaste.
Namaste the fuck.
Namaste. Now must go.
All right, people, it's been real. This is Healthy Habits episode I don't even know with Mark and Alexa.
I'm Mark Highlove.
And I'm Alexa Round, and this is Healthy Habits. So get out there, do something good for yourself. We love you guys.
Love you guys. Bye-bye.